All cross, and I'ma sip on this bud cause my dog gone. Tell talk on these niggas like I'm Waldo, and bitch, we gon' stay with the juice till it's all gone.
Ruthless.
Yeah, bitch, yeah,
yo, what's up? Yo, what's good? Welcome to the latest episode of the Effin Football Podcast. You know who it is. You know what time it is, man. It's your co-host, Rory JC, with my co-host.
I'm Dolla.
Welty, what up?
What up, dog? And what are we talking about this week, man? Let's just jump right into it. Let's cut out all the shenanigans, man. We tend to have a lot of shenanigans.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
You're out of here.
Uncle Joey.
Hey. So, bro, I don't know if you've been following the podcast though, but we're in our next installment of our top 10 series, and we broke down the top 10 quarterbacks that we projected for 2018. We broke down the top 10 running backs. We also ranked them. And now we're breaking down our top 10 wide receivers that we project for the 2018 season. And, our projections are based on, it's a little bit about stats, it's a little bit about stature, it's a little bit about how the talent level, it's a little bit about the quarterback. You know what I mean? There's a lot of factors that come into these sort of decisions. We've got an intricate mathematical system that helps, all of our collective knowledge narrow down this ranking into, 10 dudes that are like the top of the line, the cream of the crop. They got the shit to shoot. They got the shot.
They got a lot of gusto.
They got a lot of gusto. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's gusto. That's what we're looking for in a wide receiver.
Yeah. So
probably the most thing.
Number 10, Gusto Brown, man, out of Louisiana State. Gumbo Gusto.
Is that Gusto Rhymes?
Mucho Gusto.
Dude, Busta Rhymes' cousin Gusta Rhymes.
Gusto.
Didn't quite make it in the industry.
Gusta Grimes.
He didn't quite make our top 10 rappers. That's another podcast for another day. But so who wants to hop on number 10 here? And plus, who also wants to say where we ranked our number 10 receiver?
I think I'll hop on number 10 because you know what? He was higher ranked on my list. So I'm gonna say Doug Baldwin. All right, this is one of those things that's just so much about the quarterback as anything. Russell Wilson's top target. They've been playing together for a long time now. I expect the Seahawks to be better this year. I can't imagine they'd be as bad as they were last year. And, yeah, I mean, he's going to be the main guy. He's the central part of the offense. We can go over a little bit of stats here for you if you want to hear about what he's done lately. Not as eye-popping as I think his skill set is and what he means to the team.
Like someone's choking him out, like Joe Rogan, UFC style or some shit.
Yeah, it's like,
you're not on the JRE experience, you know what I'm talking about?
Finger popping.
Mary Poppins?
What?
Man, that shit is soft.
I love Mary Poppins. A spoonful of Doug Baldwin makes the medicine go down, guys.
Man, I'll tell you what, one thing I know about Doug Baldwin is he'll pop your cherry.
How do you know that?
If my dad...
Is there a story you're not telling us, Rory?
It's a story for another podcast.
Somebody that wanted to hop on number 10 there.
So, what were you talking about, Welty?
All right, last year's numbers were a little bit down. He had 75 catches, 991 yards, just under 1,000. He did still have 8 touchdowns. The year before, he had the 94 receptions with over 1,100 yards and still 7 touchdowns. The guy's just very consistent. All right, he puts it on the field all the time. I just expect the team to be better, and I expect him to have top 10 wide receiver stats. And obviously, it's a big thing to do with Russell Wilson. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the league, as we've already discussed, and this is his top target for that top quarterback. So that's why I had him highly on my list. I think he's just going to be consistent, showing up every week. He's going to be making the big catches when it counts. What do you guys think? You guys are Doug fans? Doug?
He didn't make my original top 10, but he was right there at the borderline. Not like where we're at in San Diego, where kids are getting taken away from their parents. Thanks to the NFL players kneeling on the field.
Rest in peace.
Thanks a lot. Obviously, I'm joking around. Doug Baldwin barely missed my cut. What I like about him is he catches a high percentage of balls thrown at him. This last season, he caught 65% of his targets, nearly. The 2 years prior, he was over 75% both seasons. You know, he's the type of he's like an overlooked receiver. He's a guy who does well. You know, it's funny because they played together, but he reminds me a lot of a Golden Tate. You know, when you get him in the open field, he will force, he'll force missed tackles. He'll get yards he'll get that receiving yards.
He's got a nice rack. He really does.
Yeah, he's been working out. He's been bench pressing, you know.
And I think, he got with 13.2 yards per catch last year. I think it's actually the highest he's had for a while. But still, he makes those big plays when you need him. And I think that deserves you a spot on the list is when you're the go-to guy for one of those good offenses with the top quarterback. That's considered in this process of who we think is going to be the top 10.
When you have a top quarterback, you got to look at his number one. And Doug Baldwin is I don't know if I consider him like a legitimate number one in the league. And there's probably other guys that I left off my list who are more like number one receivers. But he ranked higher than some guys that are number one receivers. Like they call them number one receivers, but I ranked him higher.
He had a really good second half of last year. I feel like he came on a lot harder.
Did he?
Yeah.
Do you know? We got some similar stories.
You guys are Doug Baldwin.
Yeah, a lot harder.
Yeah. Definitely the second half.
Yeah.
The first half was not impressive, but after things got heated, after he got going,
came on
the
strong.
The second half was much more impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Way more impressive.
I feel like the Seahawks are going to have a tough year this year. Their division got better. They didn't. They're kind of losing their identity. They've lost the Legion of Boom, and that's the defense, but I feel like that's going to affect the offense, and they still don't have a great offensive line. Russell Wilson's going to be running around. I think Baldwin's still going to put up numbers because he's the number one guy, but I just feel like overall they're not going to have as great a year.
Wait, you don't think Brandon Marshall is going to be stealing a lot of his catches?
No, not really.
I think Doug Baldwin, just by default, he's going to get all the targets, and it was so tough to break down this top 10 list. It was much tougher than breaking down the top 10 running backs, where it was, it was just figuring out who to slot in at the end of the, 7, 8, 9, 10. On this one, we all had different lists. We all had players who didn't make the list. The wide receiver position is competitive in the NFL. It's all a testament to the fact that it's a passing league these days. And, when you got a high-end quarterback like, Russell Wilson, you got to look to the guy who's going to get all the targets, and I believe that Russell Wilson is a great quarterback, and I think Doug Baldwin will have a great year, even though I didn't put him on my top 10. He's right there around 11, 12, 13. He was in my top 13.
When I was the number one ranked wide receiver of 2012, that was a huge honor, something I took for granted.
Yeah.
But
NFL, there's that ACL, right?
Yeah. NFL stands for not for long.
Yeah, and ACL stands for...
Give me some. Just give me. I'll come back to it.
All right. We'll talk more about your ACL injury later. But top 10. You made the top 10 list, Doug Baldwin. Go. I know that it's a great achievement for you. I'm sorry, we only make a trophy for number one. So just go ahead and take a clip from the podcast. Show it to your kids. They'll be very proud. And we're proud of you too, man.
We applaud your consistency.
Congratulations, man.
You made it. You made it in life, actually.
Yeah.
You can probably retire now.
Yeah.
Effin Football Podcast.
ACL, a crooked lung.
Effin Football Cockpast. Yeah, man. So, let's keep it rolling, man. I'm already bored with number 10. So let's rock on to motherfucking number 9. Who do we got going
Electric
on?
Avenue.
It's like the number 9 Electric Avenue, and the dude's name is Tyler Welty. What does he do?
What? Is that the electric?
Oh, it's actually it's like a, kind of like a remix.
Okay.
A remix.
I don't even know what you remixed. Doesn't even know what you remixed.
Yeah.
Is that Electric Avenue?
Yeah, Electric Avenue. You know what I'm talking about, dude.
You need to work on your Electric Avenue.
You know what? Just like that song, this podcast is sponsored by Cool, Cold, Coors Light. You could tell by the side of the can when the mountains are blue that it's time to drink that Coors Light when you're with the crew. Hey, so we'll keep it rocking. Number 9, Adam Thielen. I like the guy, man. I'll tell you what, man. I want him on my team. You know, I thought he caught 100 balls, but Ty Dolla told me he only caught 91 balls.
Only 91. Plus,
he only had 91 receptions, last season. No, he had a
Why is there an odd number?
He got a good year. The joke I was going to say. Not podcast appropriate. And we keep a pretty loose podcast, but, I want to pull up some of my favorite stats about this guy. He did catch 91 balls. He had his average of 14 yards per catch. Like, when I was breaking down these wide receivers, it seemed like there's one thing that sets them apart. It's yards per catch, and catch percentage. Like, how often do they catch the ball that's thrown to them? And this guy caught 64.1% of his passes last year. That ranks like mediocre on the list. That's why he ranks mediocre on our list. Plus, lack of touchdown production. Only 4 touchdowns last year, 5 touchdowns the year before. But I think that it comes down to projections also. When you replace, your quarterback and you bring in a guy like Kirk Cousins, and you just look at the way that wide receivers that have been around him throughout his career so far, their stats have been inflated just by playing with him. And I feel like this guy who had a great year with a journeyman quarterback, Case Keenum. You know what I mean? Like, nobody saw Case Keenum coming out and having a great season last year, except for the Denver Broncos. They were called their shot. They signed him in the offseason. Cha-ching. Like, I'm super glad that he's a quarterback in the division that my favorite team plays in. Motherfucker is going to eat him up like sack lunch. But, like, when it comes to Kirk Cousins, that dude's a super legitimate quarterback. Think that he's underrated. I think that Adam Thielen's going to have an outstanding season playing with him. And they got Stephon Diggs too. So anytime you got two great, two solid and good to high-end receivers playing together, they take pressure off each other, And if anything,
under pressure.
Kirk Cousins. Hey, we might get pulled off YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Vanilla Ice ripped off David Bowie. If Vanilla Ice can do it, we can do it.
I was doing the Vanilla Ice one.
Well, they had to.
So it's all good.
Yeah.
That's not under
so
pressure.
he already ripped it off, so we could rip it off from him.
Ice baby.
Ipso
Yeah, you got to say the ice baby part, or else we stole it from the wrong person. If you steal something from David Bowie, it's a big deal. But if you steal something from Vanilla Ice, it's like, I don't know. Does it matter? That's for you guys to decide. So we're gonna have a poll on our Twitter. Go ahead and check it out. Do you think that it matters that we, pulled a lick from Ice, Vanilla Ice? I almost said Ice Cube. So what do you think about Adam Thielen? What do you guys think?
I don't have much more to add. He had a very solid season last year. Really emerged as like a top pass catching wide receiver. The Vikings were a surprise all around. They upgraded at quarterback, in my mind. Kirk Cousins liked to throw the ball deep, and Adam Thielen could be that dude. So, yeah, he could definitely be 9 or better this year. I just didn't quite have him.
And Kirk Cousins not just about throwing the ball deep, but he knows the right play. Like, he throws it to the right guy. He finds the open receiver. Like, that's like his game.
Case Keenum was a really good game manager last year. I mean,
wait, what did you say?
Case Keenum was a good game manager.
Oh, sorry, I thought I misheard you.
No, anyway, but yeah, I mean, this is clearly an upgrade. This guy can run an offense and he can get the ball down the field, and he's not going to be a game manager. You expect Kirk Cousins, with all the money you give him, to go out there and be able to win you some games. And Thielen really just blew up last year. That was his year. I think he was undrafted, came out of nowhere with some small school in Minnesota, went to a hometown team, and now, he's making big plays in the playoffs. We should expect his stats to get better, and his stats are already awesome. So if he gets any better, he will clearly deserve a spot in this top 10. You'll see at the end of the season. It just depends on what Kirk Cousins, how he forms in with the offense. If he's going to be able to catch on quickly, if he stays focused, and they all start clicking, yeah, easy a top 10 guy.
Dude.
So we like Adam Thielen. Coming out of nowhere, small school guys, you got to appreciate that. They had to work to get where they were. Hard work.
Hard work. Hard work. Point to the easy work then. That's our competing podcast. Easy work. Plus, you always got to give a shout out to, like, you know, a wide receiver who's out there, like, playing at a high level. You know what I mean? You got what? Like, I'm not allowed to be, like, you know, shout out to fucking homeboy. You know what I'm saying? Like, way to, like, hang with the big dogs, Adam.
He is the only white player on our list.
Yeah, dude. So, like, way to... And we didn't have any white running backs.
Nope.
No, man. So, you're in rare...
Christian McCaffrey could have...
We'll see how he does
top
this
15.
year. We'll see how he does. You know what I mean? He has a chance.
We'll see.
You're in rare air when it comes to the athletic positions. Like, you know, congratulations, Adam Thielen. You're in rare air on our list, and you know,
Rare air.
rare air.
Rare.
Air, bro. So like, we'll keep it rolling. You know, what I'm taking shout out to Adam Thielen. Way to go. Way to make
Great season, man.
motherfucking number 9 on the list.
Seven.
Number 9. Well, we're moving on to number 8.
8.
That's what I did last podcast. Is that what you're making fun of? The way to give a shout out from last podcast to this. Yeah, so I skipped over down. We're at number 8. You know what I'm talking about? Who we got at number 8?
Crazy 8.
Yeah, Jarvis Landry, the new wide receiver with the Cleveland Browns. Browns is interesting. It's interesting what the offense looks like now. It's a whole new revamped, new look Browns team, which has never been good in the past. But for some reason, I got some hope. Rory obviously has got some hope in this guy.
Seems like everybody does.
I mean, they can't be any worse. I mean,
all
winning
years-
one game in 2 years, there's no other place to go but up. I mean, it's all going to be improvement, but this guy, how many catches did he get? He got like 112 catches last
He
year?
had 112 catches for less than 1,000 yards.
That's impressive. Like, you almost have to try
Yeah.
not to go far down the field to do that. But
That's like failing in college.
Well, you know, when you consider who your quarterback is, Jay Cutler, like, how are you expecting him to catch more than, you know, what is Jay Cutler's career yards per attempt? You know what I mean? And his other quarterbacks have been
6.7.
Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, so he, like, made his yards per attempt better. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, it's going to be really exciting to see what he can do with a half-decent quarterback. I mean, this guy could be easily one of these top guys in the league if he's got somebody that throws the ball to him that can run an offense and actually score a lot of touchdowns and get down the field and, I don't know, not just depend on him to do everything. So, shout out to you, Jarvis Landry, going to the Browns. It's a bold move. To go to the Browns and decide you're going to be...
I think they gave him money.
You know
I think he just went over there. I think they gave him money, too.
People go to the Browns and disappear. The Browns give lots of people money that were good players.
He wasn't just
and
like,
they
yeah, the
disappeared.
Browns. They gave him a lot of money, too.
You know when you play Madden and like you have that little drag route that's like 3 yards in front of the line of scrimmage? Like that is Jarvis Landry's play. That is his route, man.
Well, if it's 3rd and 2, man.
If it's 3rd and 2,
like, who are you looking at?
That guy's gonna make it. That's what you throw to this guy.
I'll tell you the one thing, like I don't want to interrupt your analysis, even though I just did. Continue going.
No, I like Jarvis Landry too, and like I think he had a good year. I mean, like super productive. Was clearly their number 1 wide receiver in Miami. He had 9 touchdowns, so I mean, it's not like he wasn't getting in the end zone. But
you know what I'm saying.
Plus, he scored 6 points many times.
Yeah. He had 60 first downs. Just their bread and butter. He went to him all the time. In a new situation with Tyrod Taylor, I think it can be a little more dynamic than, you know, catching 3-yard passes and getting tackled after 4 yards. So I think this is pretty solid. I didn't really have him on my list, but he is a great fantasy player, especially in PPR. So
yeah,
come draft day,
these
I'll
guys
be looking at you again.
He'll be coming on draft day. Plus, you know, people will be
He'll be coming around the mountain.
People will be drafting players. This guy will be in the bathroom jerking off. You know, like, who knows what's going to go on. It's going to be fucking crazy. We're all very much, on a side note, the fucking Effin football podcast crew is like we're fucking getting so close
Next Sunday.
to the fantasy football draft. Like we're several weeks out still, but man,
Dude,
I'm
we're
chomping at the bit.
Dude,
Chomping at the bit.
we're getting Subway. Subway's catering.
We're getting a foot long.
Dude, we're getting the
like the 6 foot.
The 6 footer, gonna cut it
Dude,
up.
plus we're gonna get a sandwich from there.
Cold cuts. Cold cuts, man.
Dude, like, all right,
Ugh.
these guys hate Jarvis Landry. I don't know why.
I don't hate Jarvis Landry.
4 years in the league, fastest player to 400 receptions ever. You know what I mean? Like, it comes from, your production of your offense, man. You're coming with noodle arm, like Ryan Tannehill, and then noodle arm Jay Cutler. Like, what do you got to say? Like, he averages 100 yards or 100 catches per season. He caught 9 touchdowns. He caught 9 touchdowns last year, which was tied for 4th most in the NFL. So it's like, the touchdown production is there. This guy only looks at 1 year at a time. So I mean, why can't I? You know what I mean? But I looked at 4 years. This guy is a productive player. That's all you can say. The guy produces at a high level. You can hook him up with Tyrod Taylor, Hugh Jackson's offense. Best play caller he's had so far.
Is it Hugh Jackson or Huge Action?
Dude, well, he doesn't do pornography flicks anymore, so it's Hugh Jackson is what he goes by these
Huge
days.
Jackson.
No, huge. Is it a silent? Is it a silent H? I feel
Huge.
like
It's huge.
Huge
Huge.
Action.
huge.
Huge accent.
Huge Action.
He's huge. He's got a great playbook, a great play calling experience,
Yep.
solid quarterback,
Yep.
good wide receiver. I feel like they're gonna make the Browns great again, okay? And you can count on that.
Count on that, buddy.
You can count on that. I think that the Browns are gonna do okay. These guys are like doing ridiculous. Like, how many games they're gonna win this year? Dolla?
6.
8. Welty puts them at 8. I put them around. I would
Just say 7.
I would put the over under at 6. Like, I would predict 6. This guy predicts 8. I think that they'll be much more competitive. Tyrod Taylor will be fun to watch. It'll be fun to see if Baker Mayfield gets in there.
They were in a lot of close games last year. I think they were not as bad as their record showed, and they've just gotten better. So, good for the Browns for making some moves. Jarvis Landry, if you go to the Browns and make them better, you'll be held up very highly on this list. People will think of you like,
You'll
wow,
be the next LeBron James.
the guy that turned around the Cleveland organization.
Yeah, because that's what they're calling them now. They've dropped the Browns entirely. They're just calling the Cleveland organization.
Yeah, like that big poster that LeBron they took down?
Yeah.
They'll put up one of Jarvis Landry and it'll say, LeBron?
Question mark? I don't know, man.
I believe.
This is LeBron.
LeBron could pick up Jarvis Landry like over his head and like break him in half.
I'd like to witness that.
Me too.
Like this, man. Plus, he would probably like bend him.
Yeah. Ben.
Like Beckham, dog. So yeah, so we're gonna move on. Shout out to Jarvis Landry. Congratulations on making the list. Like,
Huge honor.
yeah, huge honor. Especially considering only 1 out of the 3 of us voted for you. That means I think highly of you. You
Yeah.
made the list based on my vote. So hey, way to go, man. Put it.
I don't know, like hook him up with some tickets.
Can I get some tickets? Can I get some gear? I'll
like
rock.
a flight
If you see,
to Cleveland.
I'll take a red eye, like whatever, like I'll come out to the game, I
Southwest.
support. We'll do like an on the spot podcast from out there in Cleveland. I'd be down, man. If you see the episode, shoot me some tickets, and we'll make it happen. Break it
Tickets?
down. I'll probably just fucking like scalp him in front of the fucking.
Is that what scalping? Is that the scalping motion?
I'll scalp him. I'll scalp the tickets.
Nice.
Out there in front, I'll be like, "Hey, you need some tickets? You need some tickets?
Tickets.
Tickets? Ted, you need tickets?
You got him. You got him.
You got him? Oh, sorry, I dropped the tickets down there. Ted, way to go. So, man, Jarvis Landry, that was number 8. And we're gonna move on to number 7 on the podcast. Number 7.
You got it
7.
backwards?
I was just trying to see if it would work, if I could actually... I've never actually tried to Spider-Man it.
No? Did you get bit by a spider earlier? Or you just give it a shot?
Yeah, dude, that's why my dick's so big.
You know, in the TV show, Spider-Man has cartridges of synthetic webbing that he uses, but in the movie, the web comes from him. How fucked up is that?
I have never seen the TV show.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was... Oh, in the cartoon?
Yeah.
He's got fake?
Yeah, he makes his own web.
Oh, so
And
it's
he
not
puts them
even...
in cartridges.
So did he ever... Is it the same backstory? Did he get
Same
bit by-
backstory, but just different web.
He doesn't even actually have the real web come out of his...
Yeah, how fucked up?
Because he's like a superhuman spider, he decides, like, I'll make a fake web.
Yeah.
Because that's what a spider would do.
Yeah.
You know what? I still respect him. I still think he's a hardcore, Peter Parker, man. Mary Jane. I'd rather hang out with this chick than him, to be honest.
Probably.
Yeah.
Mary Jane.
Plus, I like to smoke weed. They call me Sativa Sims.
Salvador Sativa. All right.
So we're at number 7. Like, have we even said the name yet?
AJ Green.
AJ Green. Number 7.
Number 7.
All right, I'm going to run with AJ Green.
Yeah, you're gonna run with it?
Yeah, take it home.
All right, well, poor AJ Green. You just had Andy Dalton your entire career. You should be higher on this list. You should be a top 5 wide receiver in this league. But you have Andy Dalton, and you have Marvin Lewis, who has not been known to be an offensive guy. Sorry, last year.
He's not their offensive coordinator.
He's in charge of the team, okay? If you want a part of your team to have a focus, you hire a head coach with a background with a certain focus. That's how you do things. That's how the NFL works. But hey, man, all the talent in the world, you're on this list mostly because of that talent. And I think the Bengals will be better than they were last year. I think they make some improvements. I think Joe Mixon's going to help balance that offense out a little bit. I mean, I expect 10 touchdowns out of you, AJ Green. That's why you're on this list, is because you're going to score points. You're going to be in a tight division. I don't think the Steelers are going to run off with it like they have the last few years. I think it's going to be wide open. And he hates it. Because he's just looking at pure just numbers. That's all he's looking at. But in terms of being able to play wide receiver, AJ Green, you're a solid guy. You deserve to be in the top 10 for sure. Sorry you get stuck with Andy Dalton. That's the worst. That's just the worst. He's just good enough to have a job, but he's just not good enough to ever do well, I guess. I don't know. He's like the Case Keenum. They just stayed with one team. Maybe you should move on, man. Maybe you should demand a trade. Go to the Patriots, and you go put up 1,500 yards every season. And he's going to put up some stats real quick because he's just unhappy with my pick.
I had AJ Green on my fantasy team last year, and he had a great season last year. I mean, 75 catches, over 1,000 yards, 8 TDs. That's top 10 pretty much every year. But they could not sustain drives. There were so many 3rd and outs, and so many games where he scored like 5-10 points. It was nothing. And this guy is like a perennial 30-point scorer every game in fantasy, and
except for the games when he scores 5.
Except for the ones that he scores 5, but it's not really his fault. It's Dalton's fault. So it is frustrating, and I do think that he's in need of a new scenery. But I still think that he's been consistent with the Bengals and Dalton his whole career. I don't see why this year would be any different. I think he's going to put up the same kind of numbers, and he's going to be a top 10 receiver.
I think he's handicapped by his quarterback, man. I'm not super impressed with his stats when you rank him next to the top guys. I'm impressed with his career. I think that AJ Green is a great player. I really do. I wish he was in with a better quarterback and a better offense. I was doing my rankings on how I think that receivers will do this year, and I think 10 guys will do better than AJ Green, in my opinion. But that's just one man's opinion. If you look at the stats, he has 1,000-yard receiving every year of his 7-8 year career, except for one season. It's a very impressive stat point. but he's not putting up like some people underrank some people that I ranked higher on this, and like look at the production level at the beginning of their career. They have even higher production levels, production. Like let's be realistic here. The guy's getting old. He's 29 years old now.
29.
He's playing with fucking Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket, the Red Rifle.
Red Rocket.
He's a dog's penis. I mean, he's Andy Dalton.
Hey, Ted.
We all know.
Sorry they called your penis Andy Dalton.
we all know like how
That's
Andy
an insult
Dalton.
to Ted.
It is. Sorry, Ted.
It's one of those things like when after so many years like what something is, man, and this ain't getting no better than it was last year. If anything, it's going to go down. It's going to regress. Their offensive line has gotten worse. They have Richard Nixon playing running back. Joe Mixon. I mean, don't punch me, man. I'm not a female, bro. Like, don't worry about it. Like, we're all good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have zero belief in the Bengals this season. That division is wide open. I don't know so much about that. I think the Steelers are going to take that division easily. And all the rest of the teams, they can all, like, battle with each other. The Browns and Ravens and Bengals. I think the Ravens, like, I would place it like this. Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Bengals. I think the Bengals will finish bottom of that division, in my opinion. But I think that A.J. Green's not going to have that great of a season, in my opinion.
I honestly think that Big Ben gets hurt this year, and that might be his last year, and it's going to make the division wide open. Bold prediction. Hey, man, he's got a history of getting hurt. Fine. It's not like this is like some random stat coming out of nowhere. This is, he's even talked about retiring because his back hurts. So, I mean,
we're talking about players like Larry Fitzgerald deserved way more of a position on this list than A.J. Green. Damn. Based on last year's production, based on the last 3 years' production.
You are high.
Like, it's like, just go look at the numbers. Go stack them
up. I love me some
Larry Fitzgerald's a better wide receiver, even at this stage in his career.
That's the thing. It's this stage in the career.
And
he takes crazy good care of himself, though. All right, man. Maybe, Larry, you're getting a little bit of hate on this list, but, I mean, we're all just betting on Father Time. That's the only reason.
I'm pissed that A.J. Green made this list and Larry Fitzgerald did not. And Doug Baldwin did. Come on, man. I got love for Doug Baldwin, but come on. Where's Legend Larry at? You know what I mean? I don't know, but I'm done with number 7.
Okay, let's move on.
Number 6.
Michael Thomas.
Keyshawn Johnson's nephew, right?
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's a fun fact.
Yeah.
Tell me that fact you told me earlier about Keyshawn Johnson. Where did you hear it from? Will you tell me the story?
Jason Witten called Keyshawn Johnson the only 6'3" black possession wide receiver in NFL history.
And I was like, no way, man. I started analyzing that statement, but then I started thinking about like 6'3" and plus wide receivers off the top of my head, and I was like, how many can you? Because you usually think of like big guys like. I'm hating on A.J. Green, but like he's a good receiver.
How about like Ed McCaffrey?
He's not a possession. Like is Ed McCaffrey 6'3", that white dude?
I don't know.
He's like 6'1", I'm sure. Top.
You're just saying that because he's white.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I can't think of any. Anywho.
Yeah. Well, there you are, Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas.
Lots to do with Drew Brees, man. If Drew Brees is your guy, that helps a lot. I mean, you're going to be high on any list if you're Drew Brees' number 1 wide receiver. Go ahead, Dolla.
I'm sorry. Here's a fun fact. He's 25 years old, and this is his 3rd year. I think he spent a year at Hargraves Military Academy, so he had an extra year. So he's a little bit older than like a 3rd year.
That's not that much older.
I'm just saying.
That means that he came in at 23, which is very much appropriate for 25 at his 3rd year.
This is his 3rd year.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, now he can run a car. Good for him.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh, are you looking at another receiver on there? Is he really?
That's Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, he didn't make our list.
No, there's no Brandon Cooks.
So might as well talk about him.
No.
In comparison to Brandon Cooks is only 24. How many years is he deep?
3. This is his 4th year.
Yeah, so they're both?
Yeah. You betcha.
You betcha.
Dude, Michael Thomas' last 2 seasons were fucking awesome, dude. And he plays with one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Everybody talks about Drew Brees isn't Drew Brees anymore. That's bullshit. Just because they're running the ball more doesn't mean Drew Brees isn't Drew Brees anymore. Everybody's going to suck Tom Brady's dick like there's no tomorrow. Oh, the guy can play till he's 45 when he's 40. Like, Drew Brees ain't done yet either, dude. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Just because they ran the ball more times. You know, like, Michael Thomas is going to have a fucking monster season. And he landed at 6 on our list. I put him at 5. So he's appropriately placed. You know, the guy in front of him on our list, like, he will dominate this season. I will guarantee that much. That's a fucking effing football podcast guarantee. You guys don't know who 5 is, but, like, when you figure it out, you will. You know what I'm saying? I like Michael Thomas, man. Michael Thomas is going to have a great season, period.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's a great wide receiver, and he'd just be lucky to be on the Saints with Sean Payton.
And be the number 1 target.
Be the number 1 guy. I mean, no matter what, they're going to air it out some. And the running game, I think, only helps him, to be honest. Like, I think that's just going to get those safeties up, and he's going to get more of those deep balls. His yards per catch is probably going to go up. Great guy. Thanks for playing football. Good fantasy guy to have on your team.
Great guy. This guy,
very
like,
consistent.
He fucking, like, swiped right on him on Tinder, but didn't never get a match.
Did not match.
Sorry, Michael Thomas. Like, you know what I mean? Like, give my boy Welty a little shout out, you know, maybe on the Twitter or something. Like, say, hey, you know, I appreciate the respect and all that. Sorry, like, you know, I'm not into sushi and all that sort of business you were talking and all that. So, like, you know, it's all good. But I would put Michael Thomas in my own personal top 5 for this season. And, you know, fucking effing shout out to you, bro.
All right. Number 5!
All right, I gotta take a bathroom.
Yeah, get out of here.
My first pee break is sponsored by Cool, Delicious. Coors Light, sponsoring the Effin Football Podcast.
All right, get out of here. Get out of here. Dollar signs, take this shit over. Yeah, this is our time to shine. Keenan Allen, the best wide receiver on 3rd down in the league. Number 1. He gets more first downs than any wide receiver in the league. Finally had a year of being healthy. He was on one of his top tier offenses in the league with Phillip Rivers slinging the ball. He's got amazing feet, and he also runs good routes. I mean, you watch him, he looks like a basketball player out there. He's over there juking guys, busting moves. I mean, we'll always remember that one move he busted on Richard Sherman, just making him trip on his ankles. That was beautiful.
That was so awesome.
It was a beautiful thing to watch.
Lovely.
Like the kind of production you see out of Keenan Allen last year, as long as he's healthy, he's just going to continue that. Especially with Hunter Henry being out, there's going to be more looks out there. I know Mike Williams is going to be back, so he's going to be getting some looks. He's still got Tyrell Williams and Travis Benjamin, but Keenan Allen is the guy. Make no mistake. When it's time to get a first down, when it's time for a big play, they call his number, and that's why he's number 5 on this list. And you could look at Michael Thomas. He had 1,245 yards, 5 touchdowns last year with 104 catches. But if you go down to Keenan Allen had more touchdowns. He had more yards. He just had 2 less receptions. He had better average. He's clearly a better player. He's going to be on a pass-first offense as well. So Keenan Allen, looking forward to seeing what you can do this year. Thanks to the fantasy love last year, you got me to the playoffs with those 4 straight games, 100 yards and touchdowns and 10 catches. That's consistency.
That's really damn good.
Good for you. Dollar sign, what you got?
You said it all, man. I mean, he had an awesome breakout season this year. It was a comeback season after tearing his ACL in 2016. It was tragic. First game of the year. Yeah, I just think the Chargers overall, they have the talent at pretty much all the skill positions and on defense. He's going to have a similar year and hopefully score more. I just think he's going to be really dynamic. He's just solid. I mean, most first downs in the NFL, 74 first downs. He's open all the time. He knows how to get open. He's got great hands, great route runner, and yeah, he's the man. Only 26.
Man, that's great. Yeah, totally. So Keenan Allen's stats were slightly better than Michael Thomas's last year. Well, let's look at 2016 when Michael Thomas was a rookie.
Let's cherry pick. Let's cherry pick right now.
Let's add the last 2 years. It's not cherry picking. Let's be realistic. It's the NFL.
Okay, let's add the year that Keenan Allen was hurt today.
And he missed half of the last season before that. So in the last 2 years before that, he played 8 games and a half.
Okay, well, we're not judging the last 2 years. We're going to say it's 2018. What's going to happen in 2018?
We're projecting
Keenan Allen is going to have the same kind of year.
I think he's going to break his
He's
collar.
praying to God that he breaks his ankle because that's the only way the Raiders will have a shot at any kind of division. That's why. It's all hopes and dreams.
It's just like, it's the Chargers curse, man. This guy's going to get injured.
He's upset.
No, this guy, I'm not upset about nothing.
He's upset because the Chargers got a top quarterback and a top wide receiver and a top running back in all of our top 10 lists.
AFC West is down this year, too.
All right, 26.
Broncos and Chiefs.
Looks like you're pointing at your penis.
26.
Right.
20,
They're down.
2016, Michael Thomas had 92 catches for 1,137 yards and 9 touchdowns. And Keenan Allen had...
an injury.
Let me go ahead and pull up those numbers. 6 catches for 63 yards and no touchdowns. And going back another half year, 0 stats. Because he played 8 games the season before, man. Let's keep it realistic. Why is he ranked in front of a guy who's obviously more productive and not injury prone? Does not make sense. Okay, and even look at his past seasons before that. Dude's
keep looking back. Keep looking back. Don't look at last year. Keep looking farther back. Because we need to look way to the past to figure out what's
going on with the guy in his 5th year who just now
He's 26 years old.
Finally
26.
put up. He's going into his year 27 season. Man, he's old now. And he's had 1 year.
No.
He's had 1 year. Congratulations.
All right, we just talked about Larry Fitzgerald, and now you're going to call Keenan Allen old.
Well, you wouldn't give him respect. I put Keenan Allen on my list. I put him in at number 10. I showed respect. I voted for him in the top 10.
There's not 9 better wide receivers than Keenan Allen. No way.
Yeah, I think that's debatable. And I think at the end of the year you'll be like, oh yeah. What about Mike Williams? Mike Williams might be a better fucking wide receiver than that guy right now, dude. Straight up.
No way.
Third round draft pick.
No way.
He ran like a 4.62. He's good at route running. I think that Phillip Rivers inflates his value. And I think on another team with a weaker quarterback, we wouldn't be saying.
Welcome to the NFL, where a quarterback is going to inflate a wide receiver's value.
For sure.
I'm glad you've learned this, Rory. I'm glad this has come across you as something that's important.
You should know this more than anyone.
That's great. I can tell by your list that you fucking don't understand that yourself, motherfucker. Adam Thielen, your guy's lack of like Kirk Cousins is an upgrade to a guy who was a top 10 wide receiver last year. Leave him off your list with a level 2, like a level 3 to a level 2 quarterback upgrade. Like a level 4 to a level 2. You guys are fucking crazy. So you want to talk about...
Right. You're always right. We're sorry we ever disagreed with you. Right. We apologize.
Keenan Allen, congratulations on making top 5. Somehow it makes no fucking sense to me, but take it and run with it, man. You went to Cal Berkeley. I'll give shout-outs to that, man. Whoop, whoop. You wore a Raiders hat when you were a fucking rookie out here playing in San Diego. Everybody hated you for it out here. I'll give you a shout-out. That's the only reason why I'll still give you love. So, shout out to the Bay, dude. Shout out to my dude, fucking Keenan Allen. Congratulations. Go prove it. Stay on the field. Earn a spot on the list instead of just be gifted by a couple of San Diego Chargers fans. Because if I was next to a couple of people who weren't Charger fans, Keenan Allen would be around 8, 9, 10. I put him at 10. I was thinking maybe 9. He'd be like 8, 9. Based on production. You would look at the last 3 years and you'd be like, well, yeah, okay, you had a good season last year. That wasn't a top 5 year. And you guys are put him in the top 5. You guys both had him in front of the top 5 with not a top 5 year and no production behind it.
What 5 wide receivers had a better year than Keenan Allen last year?
Name them.
Well, you said Michael Thomas, no, because you guys looked at the stats.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe he leaked in there. Dude.
You can't name him.
That's okay. Well, we'll go judge Todd Gurley the year before last. Go judge him.
Top 5.
Go judge him the year before last. You got to take things into perspective, man. 1 year doesn't tell the whole story. All right, you guys know football to a certain extent. Like, act like you do.
I've watched his game.
Act like
tell
you
me,
do.
Tell me he's not a top 5 wide receiver when you watch him play. You can look at the stats all day.
I like Keenan Allen. I have him. I think he's a top 8 wide receiver. I would put him in front of AJ Green. I'll tell you that much for sure. I would put him in front of AJ Green.
Gee, thanks.
I mean, if AJ Green was on the Chargers, I bet you.
AJ Green's production would be so much higher than Keenan Allen's. Would be so much higher. Like fucking light years higher. Playing with Phillip Rivers as opposed to Andy Dalton, you would not be talking about this guy if fucking AJ Green was on their team. Like, you wouldn't. If you switch spots, if you put Keenan Allen on the Bengals and AJ Green on the Chargers, you don't talk about Keenan Allen. You don't even talk about him anymore.
Yeah, in the final game of this season, Keenan Allen had 9 catches against the Raiders for 133 yards and a touchdown.
Fun. Yeah, cool. Yeah, great. One game. Yeah. Play for most of the season. Let's see what happens.
He played for the entire season.
He clearly won the Amari Cooper debate. Clearly.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Go look at the stats. Amari Cooper's been more productive than fucking Keenan Allen has.
Amari Cooper sucks.
Amari Cooper is overrated.
Just go look at production, just from being on the field.
Raiders suck. Amari Cooper sucks.
He put Amari Cooper in his top 10.
That's nice.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Yeah.
You're a Raiders fan.
Well, I just wanted to use my points appropriately. I didn't think either you fucking Charger douchebags would fucking put Amari Cooper in your top 10, so I didn't waste any points on him. Even though that I do believe he will be around a 9th, 10th ranked receiver this year.
But he didn't put him as a 9th or 10th rank.
Yeah, because I want to adjust our fucking. I know you guys are fucking with your lack of knowledge.
Why is what we're doing affecting your list? Why is that?
Because I want to present the Effin Football podcast in the highest light, and I want to make us look legitimate. So I can't have you guys.
Statement.
I can't have you guys tearing our list down with fucking ridiculousness.
Number 4.
Yeah, like this, like motherfucking OBJ being ranked at number 4. His first 3 seasons of his career are the best first 3 seasons of a wide receiver of all time ever, period. Not close. He had a down year last year. We lost him at week 4 or 5 behind a terrible Giants team. But, the production, it's like you guys have fucking amnesia. Keenan Allen was great last year. Remember the last couple of years?
He's injuries, bro. He's injuries now, so that counts.
It doesn't happen. He didn't miss a year. He didn't miss a year and a half, dog. He didn't miss a year and a half.
I like OBJ. I had OBJ number 2. So why are you fucking yelling at me like you're all mad at me for putting OBJ at 4? I didn't put him at 4. I put him at 2.
You had him 2. I had him at 3.
I had him at 6.
And this guy fucked up our list by having him at 6. All right, so let's start off with Ty Dolla $ign. Why do you hate OBJ so much?
I don't hate him. I just, I want to see how he is on the new ankle.
You got a new ankle.
He got a new ankle. No, he fractured his ankle. I just want to see how explosive he is, how Manning's playing, how Saquon Barkley fits into the scheme.
And you think Keenan Allen's a better player than OBJ?
I think he's going to have a better year. Yes.
Yeah. And you don't have Keenan Allen ranked in front of OBJ.
No, I mean, if
you're slightly more based in reality.
If they're both healthy, OBJ is a better wide receiver. This is not very hard to figure out.
OBJ is the better wide. Can we just call it right here? OBJ is a better wide receiver.
We've always.
He's definitely better.
Right.
He's one of the best.
That's all I want to say.
When he's right, he might be the best.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm just saying, I think Keenan
Allen,
real. I think Keenan Allen will have a better year. I believe that.
Because you question the quarterback situation and the offensive line and New York.
Exactly.
I understand that.
That's what I question. But I mean, last year, if you look at the stats, he had 25 catches, 300 reception yards, 3 TDs. But if you extrapolate that to a 16-game season, 100 catches, 1,200 yards, 12 TDs.
And that's a down year for him.
That is
that would have been still would have been his worst year.
Standard OBJ season.
He's an average 100 catch, 1,200, 1,300 yard, 12,
10
13.
plus, 10 plus
12,
touchdowns.
13.
Yeah.
If you look at the first
Wow,
three.
you guys are making it sound like that's really just like not good. That's
Well, he has high
fantastic.
standards.
What do you mean I'm making it sound like it's not good? I'm the guy who likes him. You're the guy who fucking, oh shit, you did have him ranked high. Now, what I'm saying is, like, man, this guy's light years ahead of Keenan Allen, where you guys have him, like, you're battling. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I know we have him in front of him, but I want to make it definitive. Like, OBJ at 4, like, he can arguably be 2.
I'll say this right now,
You
the
can
top
arguably
4 on our
be
list, if they stay healthy for another 5 years, they're all Hall of Famers. Every one of them. They all stay healthy. That's
Yeah,
really...
these are the best wide receivers. Like, the rest of them are just wide receivers. And these guys,
Superstars.
they're the superstars.
I
We're
guess we just made a
superstars.
jump from good to great right now. That's what happened.
We hit superstar spectrum.
Yeah, went from tier
Yeah.
B
And
to
there's
tier
nothing
A.
saying that Michael Thomas or Keenan Allen can't be superstars. We'd have to see Keenan Allen be healthy for several years, and we would have to see Michael Thomas just be doing what he's doing for the next couple years. He's only in his third season. If he keeps up what he's doing for his first 2 years, he's already at superstar projection, but you got to see, like, the production. And with Keenan Allen, like, he's not on the field, you know, and he has one good year. And behind that, he had that a season and a half before that first 8 games were at an epic pace, and it looked like an all-pro year. But you go down with, what was it? Did he tear an Achilles at one point?
He
Lacerated-
fractured his ankle.
No, I thought it was a lacerated kidney where he fell on the football. Because
He's had like 5 injuries. Like,
he caught the football in the end zone and he literally landed straight on his kidney on the football. Freak injury, not anything.
Yowza.
well, I'm
Not
sure
like
a lot of wide
lingering
receivers land on the football in the end zone, man. How freak of an injury is that? It's part of the game. It's
Yeah,
part
hit
of
the right angle.
part of the. You know, like I got an injury where like selling a box by typing on the iPad. You know what I mean? Like, oh fuck,
Come
freak
on,
injury, freak injury.
Hey man, the bee flies in the way at the exact time you're putting your finger down and you're allergic to bees and you're allergic to bees.
Oh!
You're gonna have a bad time.
Oh, our fans will never get that reference, but it's all good, man. Shout out to the fucking effing football nation. We love you guys. Thanks for checking in and following the team over here. You know what I mean? We're just out here like, we're breaking our backs to give you the best sort of football perspective that we possibly can. We'll give you the analysis. You never want to go and see the best. All right, OBJ, man, like, you know, shout out to OBJ. You know, great production.
True superstar in the NFL.
Record-breaking
True
production.
superstar.
Until last year. And this is what, like, then you got to start thinking about, like, you know, the off-the-field stuff. Does the guy get distracted? Does he get distracted?
Does he smoke weed on yachts and do cocaine?
Is he going to start?
That's debatable.
I mean, I would for just the smoking weed thing.
Just the yacht.
Just the yachts. I would just be on the yachts and
You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, and is he kind of full of himself? You know, I was listening to a podcast today, and like, homeboy was like, you know, he didn't have blonde hair when he got drafted. You know what I mean?
well,
And I was like, what does that mean?
that's a fun fact, I
And
guess.
I was like, what does that mean? He was like, oh, he's uncomfortable with himself. I'm like, I don't feel that.
What does it all mean, Basil?
Well, he's at the point where, like, that's an example of how he's getting judged unnecessarily at this point. He's at superstar status, so he gets judged super extra hard. You know, and that's a lot
Playing
to
in
weigh.
New York.
Playing in New York. That's a lot to
It's tough.
weigh. He's got a lot on his shoulders, man. You know,
You just
bad
have to
team.
go out and ball, man.
Bad team. They're not a good team.
They're better.
They're better. They seem to be, but they got Saquon now, man. That should fucking help. That should help
Tremendous.
OBJ.
Did you say Quan?
Evan Ingram at tight end. is
Evan
another
Ingram,
target.
like, yeah, their
Sterling
offensive
Shepard.
line sucks dicks for potluck lunches, but
They got Nate Solder. They did what they had to do to upgrade. Now that's a great upgrade, but
they paid $70 million for you know, a mediocre left tackle. So yeah, you know,
so left tackles go for it, man.
You
When
know,
the market's thin, you got to pay what you got to pay.
DeMarcus Thin, who is that?
DeMarcus Thin.
Is he their backup?
DeMarcus,
Yeah,
yeah.
pass rusher.
DeMarcus Thin, the backup left tackle for the. Watch out for him. He's coming up. That's an effing guarantee by Ty Welty. He's like, look out for DeMarcus Thin.
You know DeMarcus Thin, man.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Thin.
DeMarcus Thin, nah. What can I say, man? I'll give you one soda for one DeMarcus Thin. Nah. I don't even need a soda, man. I just wanted some ice for my
He's
coffee.
so skinny, he turns sideways. They can't see him.
Ah.
Are they feeding you up
I'm
in training camp?
Way too fat for that.
Give that man a sandwich.
Give him a Sammy.
Man, give this man the fucking planet, man. The king of the world. Our top three, man. All three of them are fucking battling for the king of the world, the king of the planet, the wide
Badasses.
receiver. You know, OBJ also, like, he got pushed to 4. I feel like he should be in the top 3, but
That's an insult to OBJ. He's going to be out for blood.
he's gonna be out for blood, man. You know, and that's why we ranked you at 4. Dog, go get it. You know what I'm saying? Go get it. All I can hear is this, though. The top 3 for me, you know what I mean? Like, you got to start right here at number 3. And how do you get into 1 and 2? I don't know, but we'll start at 3. DeAndre Hopkins, man. The guy is a football catching
Monster. He's a monster.
magician,
To me-
I was going to say.
To me, he's like this generation's Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, that's a
Because-
great analogy.
Because this guy puts up
Yeah.
monster numbers with the shittiest quarterbacks you've ever seen in your life. And then
You respect Brock Osweiler, man.
I don't respect it. Sorry.
Oh,
He gets
okay.
Deshaun Watson for 7 games, and he sets the world on fire like he's supposed to. He had 96 catches, 1,378 reception yards, 13 touchdowns, 24 20-plus yard plays, second in the NFL. 69 first downs.
Did you say 69?
I said 69. That's 4th in the NFL. And he only played 15 games, so he missed a game. And Deshaun Watson only played in 7 before tearing his ACL. This guy's a beast. He puts up crazy numbers. Deshaun Watson is cleared to play, but they're going to take it easy through training camp. He's not going to play in the preseason, but it looks like he's going to be ready for the regular season, which is insane.
The guy's always open. He should be the only, he could be 7-11. So the guy, he always beats you deep, and that's what kills you. You think you got a deep
Dude, plus he gets open.
Ooh.
Long.
Nice and long, huh? I mean, he gets those balls deep.
He's the man.
Great hands, too, honestly. Fantastic.
Man, plus he can catch the rock.
Yeah. And also, he's good at catching footballs.
Yeah, and also...
Wait, what?
Sorry, I didn't mean to take you off your...
No,
Yeah,
I
story,
mean, he's just one of those guys you just wish you saw him with a great quarterback because you just would love to
Well, I
see
think
this
he's
guy.
got a great quarterback now.
Well,
Deshaun Watson.
I mean, that's what we saw for
Yeah.
7 games, but can you imagine, just a season's full of this, going deep into the playoffs? I mean, it would be exciting, honestly. It would just be, you would tune in and see what's DeAndre Hopkins doing, because they'd be throwing the ball a bunch, you'd be getting all those deep down the field throws. Every time you see a highlight, he's just blowing past some guy in the end zone, just making him look foolish.
Dude, plus he's running by him.
You did it again. God damn it.
Yeah.
We're out here, motherfucker. It's the Effin Football Podcast. I thought you knew what time it was.
I would say the only reason he might not have better stats is because I think with Will Fuller's also a really good deep threat. He was catching a lot of footballs too.
Will Ferrell has Will Ferrell for hands. He has Will Ferrell for hands. He has Will Ferrell hands.
Well, yeah.
Actually, I think
Now that he's
Fuller
playing
helped
with
him.
Will,
He helps
I think
him
he helps
by
him a
taking
lot.
the top off the top. But like, if you look at his
and he
catch
also helps
percentage,
with the safety. Yeah.
the guy has Will Ferrell for hands. Like 2 Will Ferrells.
Not the
At
best
end of
hands,
service.
but crazy speed. Speed kills, man.
Speed kills.
Speed kills. I think they're going to have a crazy offense.
Here's an effing
1-2.
public announcement. Don't do meth. Speed kills. All right, so just don't do it, kids. All right,
R.I.P.
so R.I.P.
Here, you want my beer?
Dude, I want your beer. We're brought to you by Coors Light.
It's a school night.
It's a school night, man. So we're making sure not to do meth or speed. Speed kills. Will Ferrell.
I'm a chemist.
Will Ferrell, yeah. We're going streaking to the quad.
Can we get some KFC?
A little cold outside, Frank.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It is. Yeah, it is. Well, it's kind of cold in here, even though it's the middle of July. It's the end of July. By the way, we're podcasting out of San Diego, California. Give a shout out to my motherfucking people in California, man, especially out here in Southern California. You
And
know?
we're just having a good time. We
We
like
love
talk
you.
football. If you want some analysis, we'll help you with your fantasy. We'll help you actually learn what the league's all about.
Yeah, this isn't. You haven't tuned into the Colin Cowherd show for sure. I don't know if you've understood that yet, but like, you know what I mean. This ain't the Dan Patrick experience.
He knows all about the Dan Patrick experience.
Coors Light, smashing them, to my delight. All right, so.
Ooh.
Nice. Nice.
All
I
right.
like how you like that.
Fire.
I kind of liked it. I thought it was fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think? I didn't think it
I
was
thought
fire.
the mountains were
Am I
cool.
right?
I thought it was cold.
You know, this one actually has like gray mountains. It's not even cold.
It's not that cold.
I'm gonna drink it anyways.
Yeah. Be careful.
Mm.
Impurities.
Ooh, it's
Yo,
definitely,
and
it's
that-
definitely warm.
Oh.
Oh, so it's slightly warm. It's slightly warm.
I still-
Still surprisingly delicious.
Bless you.
So like DeAndre Hopkins, like you know, like I feel like he's gonna thrive with the quarterback situation. Deshaun Watson, you know, really liked him coming out of Clemson. Nobody ever believes me like that. I thought that was the guy was gonna be a big
We
guy.
didn't have the Effin podcast to back it
Yeah.
up.
Really thought a lot about that dude, and he's a competitor, and that's like the difference over there. Like that guy really, he's a quarterback that wants to win. He's dedicated. He's like the second coming of like Russell Wilson, only maybe more talented. Debatable. Ty Dolla sign just looked at me like second coming of Russell Wilson. I feel like he's Russell Wilson-esque, but like a better accuracy. I'll say that much. Better deep ball.
I feel like he's a mix of like George Blanda and
Jim Plunkett.
Steve Bartkowski.
Wow.
You know?
The most obscure combination that we've had thus far on the Effin football.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that was a real person.
I almost want to give you a high five just on the references.
A little bit of like Tony Kramer.
What about Warren Moon? Maybe we get some Warren Moon.
Dude,
No,
I feel like he's a little bit Bob Greasy, kind of mixed with like a little bit of Aaron Brooks.
Like a Daryl LaMonica.
He's like a Daryl LaMonica, like meets like Steve Carell.
Like a John Brody. Y.A. Tittle.
He's Y.A.
He reminds me of Y.A. Tittle.
That was a quality player in that NFL.
Y.A.
Okay,
Tittle
he
was
was
the
a-
man.
he's a Hall
I'm
of
not
Famer.
laughing at
Hall
Y.A.
of Famer.
Tittle. I'm laughing at the reference because it's obscure, but Y.A. Tittle, like when it comes to like effing football players, like that guy is an effing football player. Period. One of the greats to ever play the game.
I'm gonna
Y.A.
be bouncing
Tittle.
my grandkids on my knee talking about Y.A. Tittle.
Mm.
You know, when I used to watch him.
But it sounds like
You're
you
gonna
just,
have your kids Y.A. Tittle while they're on your knee?
I'm gonna tell them about him.
it sounds like something I would say after I went to the bar for the night. So out there I go, Y.A. Tittle, and also like, but I don't, but I don't tattle.
I don't tell them.
I go out, I'll tittle a little bit, but I won't tattle.
Exactly.
Number 2. Deuce. I got my deuce at the bottom of the list. Here we go. We got Julio Jones, number 2.
Hey, what's up, Julio?
Hey, man.
Me and Julio
consistency.
down by the schoolyard.
You guys' references. Fucking
I don't even
fantastic.
got this one, man.
Fantastic. Anyways, and you
So-
guys want to pull up this guy's stats because it's just kind of crazy.
Should someone pull up
I
some
got
Julio
him. I got
stats?
you.
You got him?
I got you guys.
Yeah, just stat us out.
88 catches, 1,444 yards, only 3 touchdowns, but still an explosive player. He had 23 20-plus yard plays. That's third in the NFL. Caught 67 first downs. That's fifth in the NFL. Matt Ryan and the Falcons offense had a down year this year. He only threw for 20 touchdowns. And that is unacceptable. That's pedestrian in today's game.
Dude, it's the Steve Sarkisian.
That's what I was getting
offense.
to.
Yeah.
Steve
They
Sarkisian.
they miss Kyle Shanahan a lot, man.
A lot.
That-
Steve Sarkisian. He's still on a bender. That dude's he's still recovering from all those USC tabs he ran.
He's still on a bender. I didn't know where it was coming from, and it made me laugh really hard.
They didn't realize they have bars in Atlanta, so he's fucking up their offense.
So he's not familiar with the rap game out there?
Nah, the
That
trap
they
game.
That they got bars in Atlanta.
I got balls in Atlanta.
Atlanta?
He doesn't know about UGK.
He doesn't know about the dirty South.
Yeah, he doesn't know about UGK. He's probably a Mike Jones fan.
The point being, his play calling was sporadic throughout the year, and they still managed to make the playoffs and beat the Rams and almost beat the Eagles, the eventual Super Bowl champions. But Steve Sarkisian was sabotaging their offense. Julio Jones only had 3 touchdowns. They didn't know what to do when they got down by the red zone. I think that's just a mirage. He's getting up there in age. He's 29 years old, but he's still like 1A, 1B best wide receiver in football.
Sabotage.
All I need is
sabotage. What's up, Beastie Boys? Yeah, what you like?
Can't stand it. I know you planned it. I'm a sensation. It's a lot of good.
Hey, I'll tell you this much about Julio. Yo, man, you the bro. The one thing I want to highlight about Julio Jones, 2016, 2 years ago, he averaged 17 yards per reception.
Wow.
Which is fucking ridiculous. I don't have the number of catches that was, but it was like near 100 or over 100. 2017, he had 16.4 yards a catch, which I think tops anybody on our top 10. You look at the 3 touchdowns from this last year, like, it's really a product of the system, I feel like. You really just got to give this guy props for his career at this point. Like, he's, like, literally earned the number 2 position on our list. He started 94 to 95 career games, which means the first game as a rookie he didn't start, but then from then on it was like, it's on. You know what I mean?
As durable as they come.
He averages 15.5 yards per catch career.
Insane.
It's epic, man. It's elite. When it comes to elite wide receivers, like, Ty Welty hates him because he's inconsistent in fantasy football.
Inconsistent.
He's in the system where he gets come, and that's fine for him. But for the rest of us, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, 15.5 yards per catch is like elite stats. That's elite player like ability. Yeah, there's nothing you can take away from this guy, man. Just because of you can't look at the product of an offense under like a college offensive coordinator coming in, head coach, but coming in as a coordinator, Sarkisian. The drop off from Kyle Shanahan. But, like, they've been rotating coaches, and, like, I remember when Mike, what was his name? Whitehead Mike Smith. Mike Smith.
Yeah.
Dude, they've been rolling through coaches in Atlanta. He's had different offenses. Despite all that, he's put up, like, a potential Hall of Fame career if he keeps up the numbers. And his yards per catch is, like, ridiculously elite. The guy is an elite receiver. There's nothing else you can say to take away from, like, what he does at yards per catch. Like, despite the offense, despite the play caller, despite, like, 3 years ago, nobody was talking about Matt Ryan as a great player, and then he makes, an MVP award.
Mm-hmm.
Then they fall off last year. Even through all that, just look at his career stats. The guy's a fucking monster, period. Monster. Monster wide receiver, period, monster.
He is a monster. He's huge. I mean, you could say everything you want to say about Julio Jones. 2 clear knocks. The top 2 wide receiver in the league had 3 touchdowns last year. That seems kind of off. That doesn't seem right. The top 2, you should be getting at least 5. Minimum at least 5. Like, if you're top 2 wide receiver in the NFL.
That is weird.
Also, 4 games last year, 3 receptions or less. That can't happen as a top 2 wide receiver in this league. You need to be consistent, showing up every
Did that
single
happen
week.
the year before, though? On a different play caller? Did that happen the year before?
Well, he's got the same play caller, doesn't he? Did they switch play callers? Is something new?
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan did.
Well, now they have a new play caller?
Now they have another new play.
Oh, they have another new one, so we'll see how that relates.
Another
but still, another one. And
Another one.
So, yeah, third different offensive coordinator, apparently. So, yeah, I mean, I like you, Julio. You've been on my fantasy team. We've had some good times together. I really cherish the weeks that you got me paid. I thank you for that. But
he really likes to hit on you, though, at the same time. He doesn't mean any of that.
Under 90 receptions.
Number 6?
Under 90 receptions. Under 5 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns. And disappear sometimes. I mean, when you blow up, it's just ridiculous. It hurts.
So
you destroy games, but then you disappear.
He has a higher yard per catch than anybody on our top 10 list, and you're knocking him for the number of catches he's had because he doesn't get targeted. You're knocking him for the number of touchdowns he had because he doesn't get targeted in the red zone. Like, that's his fault?
Partially, yeah.
Suck my dick.
You should have more than 3 touchdowns, and I'm not going to suck your dick as much as you would like it. I bet
the stats are, I bet if you look at where he was fucking targeted in the red zone, which we didn't look up.
I don't know where you've been targeted in your red zone, bro, but Julio didn't catch enough.
Well, it's 100% success rate.
For what? Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure you open
up sex. And shit.
I'm sure someone touches down there anytime they want to.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, you should know.
Ooh. Here's another caveat.
Okay. This guy's got hot hands over here.
Julio Jones was having a contract dispute, but he reported to camp. They restructured his contract. They're going to give him $3 million extra this year, and they're promising him that they're going to restructure his whole contract after this year. So it looks like he's happy. He's ready to go.
Oh, he's not happy.
He's happier.
Oh, he's not happy. What, did they give him more money?
They gave him more money this year.
Oh,
yes.
Did they?
They took money from his 3 remaining years, and they gave it to him this year.
Did that happen today?
That happened last week.
I didn't see that.
Yes. It was
Did that happen last week?
You weren't paying attention.
All right. Well, I missed that part because, like, that guy is not, like, he has multiple years left on the contract, but he's 29 years old. They're just bridging the gap. He's one of the most efficient receivers in the league, and he will never get his financial, like, payback for that, for this era in comparison to the people he's playing around. It's kind of sad. Kind of sucks. You know, and I feel bad for the guy. I'll tell you that much.
He's not a savvy businessman, so maybe he shouldn't be at number 2 either.
I looked at wherever he signed that contract at, like, you know, these guys got bad agents sometimes. 4, 5, 6 year contracts. You know, more guys are going these days like NBA, 3 year, 2, 3 year like deal, 1, 2, 3 years. Get your money and then go negotiate. You know, and he got caught into a bad deal. That was like a 5-year deal. It was like a 5 or 6.
A couple years ago.
It was like a 6. It was a 5-year deal.
Yeah.
And the market resets so quickly.
Yep.
And like
there are 14 wide receivers making more money than him.
Oh, it's just like, it's embarrassing. Like, how can you even show up to camp as Julio Jones?
That's why.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's why he had a dispute in the first place.
So how much more do you know what the difference was, what they gave him?
I believe it was from $10 million to $13 million.
Yeah, that's not enough. They gave him $3 million more.
Gave him $3 million and good faith that they're going to restructure his contract after this year.
We'll see, man.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see, like, and hopefully for their sake, like, they make the right call. Because even at 29, going on 30, you know, like, I remember Jerry Rice having some great years with the Raiders at 34, 35. And we're not even talking that. We're talking 29 going on 30. But teams
Why are you calling Keenan Allen old? What the?
Teams are so anxious about, like, contracts and players. Like, they give them $3 million now. Like, who knows what that means for next year? You know, that's why Le'Veon Bell is pushing such a hard line. And that's why Julio's pushing such a hard line. Because when you're one of the top 2 or 3 players at your position, arguably number 1 and arguably number 2 or 3, you know.
It's a no for every NFL player. Get what you can, while you can. Because the second you start to decline just a slight bit, they'll cut you and no one's going to get you paid the way you deserve. So, you know what? I don't even get mad when these guys hold out. I understand. It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe when these rookies hold out, I get a little upset. You haven't shown up anything. But when you're a Julio Jones, when you're Le'Veon Bell, get paid. You've made those organizations. You made the NFL enough money. You should get your cut. So good for you guys. You stand up for yourselves. Take care of yourselves. You take care of your families. And you get yours. You get what you've earned. So, you know what, Julio, I applaud you. But don't get hurt this year.
Dude, it's the loser fans that are backing the $1 billion fucking owners.
Yeah, they don't put their
And
bodies
they're,
on the
like,
line. They're
you
not
know what
getting
I mean?
CTE.
Oh,
When Jim Irsay gets CTE, it's
Oh,
probably
the guy-
because he did just a bunch of painkillers.
You know what they always say? Oh, the guy wants more money. I'm out here making minimum wage, going to the games.
like, hey, bitch, like, sorry you're not a, you didn't figure out how to be a professional athlete. It's not just offered out, man. His whole career, like, is within a decade, or a decade and a half at best. 2 decades in a ridiculous circumstance. And the people that they're making money for are worth retarded amounts of money. And you get mad at the players. Like, it's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking dumb.
It is dumb.
It's so dumb when people get mad at the players. Oh, he wants more money? Yeah, of course. All the teams in the league have made 250. Was it 200 or 350?
I don't know how much they made, but
350 million just off the the general after so after everything. All I'm saying is the Effin Football Podcast is the shit for one reason, and that's because we bring you the real facts. I talk to my motherfucking people because I got the insider. I got Adam Schefter on the line. I got ring, and according to Adam Schefter, who's number 1 on the Effin Football Podcast list?
Ladies and gentlemen, according to my sources, number 1, Effin Football, top 10 wide receiver list, 2018, Antonio Brown.
Oh! Nobody got spoiled.
Antonio Brown. Congratulations.
So what do you think, Dolla?
I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. He's had
5 straight.
perhaps the best 5-year stretch in NFL history.
He's averaging 12 to 1,300 yards per season.
This guy,
12 touchdowns, 110 catches.
He had 101 catches, 1,533 yards, 9 touchdowns. Led the league with 27 20-plus yard plays, 7 40-plus yard plays, tied second in the NFL, 71 first downs, second in the NFL, only played 14 games. So this guy's a beast. He's been to me, he's been the best wide receiver for the past 3 or 4 years, and it's no different until he proves it different.
I think it's undisputed. That's what you guys say when you think of Antonio Brown. He's the Jerry Rice of our time. If you get any generational player in the NFL, I think it's going to be Antonio Brown that stands out with his consistency, with his production. I was watching some videos this offseason. You had some of the top defensive backs in the league meeting up, and they're working out together and practicing. And you should listen to how many times the words Antonio Brown, AB, comes out of their mouth, because that's who they're training for. That's the number 1 guy in their mind when they show up every day to get better, because they know they have to prepare to cover this guy. It's just the consistency is amazing. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have, Hall of Famer Ben Roethlisberger throwing you the ball. He's got balanced offense there, too. I don't know. You can't say anything bad about this guy. He's got great character. He's fun to watch. Great end zone dances. That probably
great hair.
Fantastic hair. Really on point.
Nice to change it up.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a few years ago. I remember they were making a big deal because the Steelers let go of with Mike Wallace, and they kept Antonio Brown, and everyone's he's a big play. All those big. I mean, kudos to the Steelers for knowing what time it is, and they
gave Mike Wallace's contract
to AB.
Antonio Brown's like, I'll take it.
Yeah, they gave it to AB.
He earned it, man.
He never looked back.
Dude.
If he had to nitpick one thing, he had 3 fumbles last year. but he didn't lose any of them. So
A-
you can't even really nitpick.
AB's last 5 seasons catches from 2013 to last year. 110, 129, 136, 106, 101 yards. 1499, 1698, 1834, 1284 last year, 1533.
That poor 1284 season. What was he doing?
Like
What was he doing, Antonio?
that production level is unprecedented. It is the best 5-year stretch ever. The touchdowns don't match up with he has good touchdown production, 8, 13, 10, 12, 9. Those are good numbers. They're not as elite as the catches and the yards. And I've read this article that was projecting how could AB catch Jerry Rice. And it really put things into perspective for me for how great Jerry Rice's career actually was. Because he would have to keep up this production on the same level for another
10 years.
It's another 10 years.
Yeah.
He is so far
He's 30 years old.
Jerry Rice's numbers are so far above anything that's fucking reasonable. Everybody says Michael Jordan is the best player of all time in any sport. The older I get, the more that I think that Jerry Rice might be the best player of all time.
And the game that the NFL was at that point, it wasn't this, protect the quarterbacks, you can't touch the wide receivers after 5 yards nonsense. No.
Dude,
it was a different NFL back then. He still dominated.
And his touchdown mark is 60 ahead of anybody behind him. This guy, his numbers are so ridiculous. But AB is the close. I love whichever one of you said Jerry Rice, man. He's like Kobe Bryant to Michael Jordan.
Fantastic comparison.
He's AB to.
There's no way you can
AB
catch him,
to Jerry
but
Rice. But you could be the most closest thing to him.
You can make your own legacy, and that's what he's doing.
You can be the most closest thing to him. I feel like he's in comparison from Jordan to Bryant. I feel like he's from Rice to AB, because AB is the closest thing that we're going to get to him. And what's even crazier is Rice did that in an era that wasn't pass first and not this era. It's mind-blowing. Well, what AB is doing right now is mind-blowing. He's number 1 on the list for a reason. It's unprecedented, outside of Jerry Rice, what he's doing with his stat line. And, all you can do is give him props and shout-outs and say, hey, AB, you're the best wide receiver in the game, 6th-round draft pick, right?
Yep.
Out of
Central Michigan,
man.
Played with J.J. Watt.
I played with J.J. Watt, man. Did they both come out of the same?
J.J. Watt transferred to Wisconsin, but they were both at CMU at the same time.
CMU. Good for you.
Dude, oh my God.
The Chippewas.
The Chippewas.
Those Chippewas got some posters up there going on right now.
Yeah, we had J.J. Watt we had him one year.
Former Chippewa.
J.J. Watt was playing tight end at Central Michigan.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I want a J.J. Watt Chippewa jersey.
A J.J. Chippewa.
Yeah.
See,
A Chippewa?
It's more Chippewa, AB, man. You guys want to pour any more, races onto this guy?
Bow down to the greatness.
We are not worthy! We are not worthy! That's an old school, Wayne's World, kick.
Wayne's World.
Basically,
Party on.
until he slows down, I'm just going to assume he's number 1 every year.
Yeah, there's no 1A, 1B.
He's
It's
established
Antonio
that.
Brown, 1A, 1AA, 1AAA.
Possible number 1 pick in this year's fantasy draft.
Yeah,
Possible.
he's clearly a safe pick.
Yep.
If you don't want to take a risk, take the Antonio Brown. Anyways, closing out. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We had a great time.
It's our top 10, wait.
Wait.
Wait. Ever.
Oh, Rory has to do it. Rory has to do it. That's the rules. Rory has to close it.
Top 3 tight ends. Let's go. Shoot. Right now, top 3 tight ends. Ty Dolla sign.
I'm going to say Gronk, Kelsey, and a little screwball, Mike Gesicki, the rookie from Penn State. He's
All right.
on the
Whoa.
Dolphins this year.
All right.
He could be the new Gronk.
All right. Welty.
Freak
Ooh,
athlete.
all right. I mean, the first 2 are clear. It's going to be Gronk. It's going to be Kelsey. Then third one, you could say whoever you want. I mean, you could do Kyle Rudolph in there if you want to. He might have a solid season. I mean, who else you got? Ingram might come out. I mean, it's his second year. Tight ends usually take an extra year to really be productive. Who else are you going to get? I mean,
Zach Ertz.
Boom. So let's go. That's my number one is Kelsey. I'm gonna take Travis Kelsey. We're with Zach Ertz at number 2. I'm gonna put Rob Gronkowski at number 3. And that's my top 3 tight ends for this upcoming season. This is we're gonna fucking ever wrap up this episode of the Effin Football Podcast. And if you don't know what it is, you should know what it is. So check us out at Effin Football, Twitter.
Hey, and I need all pros. And I'ma sip on this wood cause my dog gone. Talk on these niggas like I'm Waldo. And bitch, we gon' stay with the juice till it's all gone. Ruthless. Bitch, I'm ruthless. And niggas talk